Welcome to the Wine with Jimmy channel. This is a channel really dedicated to maximizing your enjoyment of wine. And my series and presentations are always very much focused around key text and wine syllabus. So if you are studying the world of wine, you will find them exceptionally useful, hopefully. So, welcome to our series here on storing and service of wine, and we're going to be talking about decanting wine. Is it worth it? What do we do it for? And do I need a decanter? Should it be on my Christmas list? Well, let's talk all about this. This is in Series 2, How to Serve Wine, Part 4 on decanting. Any comments, any questions? Perhaps you have a decanter, you don't. What wines you use? Have you had any experiences where it's changed the wine? Please do get in touch by commenting below. So, first of all, why are we looking to actually decant? So, first of all, some certain wines can actually give a heavy deposit or sediment. Sometimes in English, you'll hear this being phrased as throwing a sediment or throwing a deposit. Now, if this is the case, like the bottle you see in this picture, it will need to be decanted off this sediment so the sediment doesn't go into your glass and then into your teeth, all bitty and chewy and not so nice. This deposit, however, it's not all evil, it's actually very natural, and it's formed during the aging process of many great wines. A lot of people ask me, when I get a sediment, is that a high quality wine? Is it really evidence of high quality? Well, I mean, perhaps, but it all depends. Sediment is what happens to certainly red wines that have capability for aging and those that have quite high color content and tannic structure. And that's basically what those are. Deposits and sediments are those decomposing. They are breaking down into sediment. And that's why it's nice and dark red, this stuff, because it's been colored by the wine, of course. So decanting would be necessary to decant off this sediment. Get to that very soon. A second reason would be aeration. So some young wines will benefit from the aeration that occurs when the wine is decanted. Though sometimes you don't necessarily need a decanter to do this. You could just pour into a very nice large glass and swirl around and swirl around. Leave it, let it sort of breathe in that glass and it will do the same thing. But of course, the issue with that, it's in a glass and there's lots and lots of temptation just to grab it. Whereas in a decanter, it's a little bit more protected from you. But young wine. So if you're thinking about, say, perhaps a young Bordeaux, a young Ribera del Duero, they could benefit with some oxygen contact just to sort of open them up a little bit. Just want to dispel a myth about aerating wine. If you draw the cork out when you open it and then just sit it there with an opened bottle and you say, oh, I'm going to let it breathe for a bit, this will do very little. It will have very little effect because the surface area of the neck of the bottle to air is tiny. Most of that wine will not come in contact with air. So it has a very, very minor reaction. So it's really not a great way of aerating it. You need to put it into a glass or a decanter. So how do we decant? And I'm going to sort of give a slightly traditional aspect and, of course, a more modern aspect here. Now, the wine bottle is likely to have come from a cellar where it's been sitting on its side. The best thing is to remove this bottle horizontally from its rack and then place immediately in a decanting basket. Now, only really quite traditional establishments and also kind of Michelin star restaurants and so on will have decanting baskets. they are quite a rarity today. So the alternative is to just hold the bottle carefully to make sure that there isn't much agitation of the bottle. We are very likely to be placing the bottle upright, so you'll be drawing out horizontal and slowly moving it to a vertical position and placing it carefully somewhere before it's going to get served. We then go through the typical steps of removing the capsule at the top, cleaning the shoulder and the neck of the bottle, and gently removing the cork as described in the previous video. And then we go through the art of decanting. So we remove the bottle from the basket or where you have gently located the bottle, being very careful not to disturb the sediment that you are expecting to be there. And that's another key point, by the way. How do we know if a wine is going to throw a sediment? Certain wine styles will, like crusted and old ports, but generally older red wines will have the capability of giving a sediment. So it is more of a preliminary, precautionary sort of step that you are taking to do this. Now, holding the bottle in front of a light, traditionally a candle, as you can see here, but you can use any kind of light, an iPhone light is fine. Please then pour the wine carefully into the decanter. Don't let it glug out because that will then bring sediment from the back of the bottle. Just let it gently pour out, okay? So very, very minor alterations in the gradient of the bottle as you are pouring out. And as you get to the bottom of the bottle, you'll see the wines coming to the neck, and you'll start to see the sediment getting agitated. Once you see that go towards the neck, that is when you need to stop. So therefore, all of that sediment, or most of it anyway, will be retained in the bottle. You are likely to lose a little bit of wine, but don't worry, this is only going to be less than a sip. Also, I just want to put it out there. Now, we don't have to be exceptionally snobbish and pretentious all the time. If you don't have a decanter, or perhaps your decanter is broken or it's too dirty, you don't want to use it, you can't be bothered to get it out of a box which is stored somewhere, all you need to use is a really large glass, or to be honest, a jug. As long as it's a nice clean jug, as you can see here, honestly, really, it's okay. It's doing the same sort of job. It doesn't look as flashy, but at home, this is absolutely fine, trust me. So I just want to give you that option as well. Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you for joining me on part 4 here on decanting wine. Please do join me for part 5, where we talk about methods of preserving wine once they have been opened. If you do have any comments or questions, please do get in touch. I'd love to hear your comments below on your experience with decanting. And do you use a jug if you don't have a decanter at home? Anyway, I have been Jimmy Smith. Thank you for listening. See you on the other side. Ciao for now.